This is a part 2 of neuroscience hacks that changed my life after I started implementing them. Human Connection Edition. Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. The first one is a confirmation on why I am so set on having standards in my life. Neurons mirror neurons. So that means whoever you're surrounding yourself with, you're becoming. Your neurons in your brain, which are forming the pathways in between them, they're forming the connections, they're literally your whole mind. This is literally how you're programming yourself. They are mirroring each other. So if you are with this person all the time, you're surrounding yourself with those people, you're actually becoming like them. I heard this one thing that I was like, you are the bar. It's not that you should expect people to be so much better in you to be in your life, because girl, you have to do the work yourself. You have to strive to become better and better and better. You have to better yourself. And as we already know from the previous video, you attract who you are, not who you want to be. So you don't attract people better than you. But sometimes we keep people in our life just because we like them. And as much as it might be controversial, I'm not keeping people in my life that I just like. You have to bring something towards my life. You have to bring me up. You have to at least meet my bar to stay in my life, because I'm gonna be like you. If you're not keeping me up in any sort of way, in any area, you can just not bring me down. This is literally the bare minimum of what you can do in my life. If you want to be in my life in any sort of way, I'm not gonna let you bring me down. So you are the bar. If you're keeping somebody in your life, let them be at least on the same level as you. Why would you let yourself be brought down just to help somebody else be a little bit better? Like, no, I'm not doing that anymore, because I was the girl who was always like, I can fix them, I can help them, no, they're just they're better than that, they're just misunderstood, they're just let them. Honestly, let them. It is not your responsibility. You are the bar in your life. People who are staying in your life, they're supposed to meet your standards, and your standards are supposed to be on the same level as you. I always was like very bothered when somebody said, you have such high standards, you have such high standards. I'm having high standards, but I'm meeting every single one of them. And I heard it and I was like, yes, this is why I was so mad, because I was like, why is it so hard for me to expect this kind of thing from somebody when I am doing this kind of thing? I am bettering myself every single day. I am working out. I am trying every single day to be better and better. I am fixing my coping mechanisms from the past. I am doing all this work that I am expecting from somebody. Also, the way I am treating women in my life, I'm like the gentleman in my friendships. I'm like, I am putting in this masculine energy that whenever we're going out, I am opening doors in front of the girls in my life. Whenever my girls are going through something, I am literally being the comfort, like the shoulder to cry on, and this is okay for me. I don't mind it. But when I am in a romantic relationship, I expect my partner to do so. And if I can do it, if a level of me is like this, I can do it, I am literally capable of doing so, why wouldn't I expect the person that I'm actually surrounding myself with so much to be like that? Why would I want me to downgrade just because, okay, I like them? Like, so what? There's so many other people that you can like. So keeping the standards in your life, it's not only bullshit like, okay, keep the standards in your life because some people don't deserve it. Okay, they might deserve it, but for them to deserve it also, and for you not to be damaged by this whole connection, is for them to be on the same level as you. I cut out the people in my life that I had for years in my life, but I was like, I'm not gonna let you bring me down. I can either stay in this friendship and let you bring me down with you, or I can cut myself out and grow. And I chose the other option. And honestly, it made me so much happier because I met more like-minded people in my life that actually bring me up, that uplift me, that help me grow, that help me meet the triggers and help me heal. And we as people, we synchronize so much. Our minds literally synchronize. And this is also like a fun fact. Do you know that with your partner, when you're sleeping together, your heartbeats are synchronizing when you're sleeping with your loved one? And I think it's very, very cool. The second point is that there are connections between maternal love and romantic love. Attachment and bonding help with developing sympathetic and parasympathetic system. When you have imbalance in those systems, it is resulting in emotional irregulation. So this is your sign to actually heal your traumas from your childhood, because as much as it is not your fault what happened to your life, especially when you were a kid, it's not your fault how other people treated you. It is your responsibility to heal from that. And unless you actually address the problem, and unless you actually try to heal, you're always gonna be emotionally unregulated. And I'm so happy that right now it is more known that you don't have to go through something really traumatic to have the trauma. You can have the trauma even from the fact that your parents, for example, didn't hug you as much or didn't say I love you as much. They were showing it, but they didn't say it. There are so many things that actually you didn't have to be in an abusive relationship with your parents to actually have traumas. And this is such a deep topic that I don't even know what else should I say, because this is so personal and this is so deep that I'm putting it as a point because it is very, very important to address it, but I am not a professional to actually help you deal with it. The most important thing is to actually understand, hey, I might have a problem. If you are too sensitive, if you have any emotional irregulation, get more into it. Usually those wounds are from your childhood, and mostly it's the relationship with your parents. And something thing that is really, really helpful is also understanding that it's also your parents' first time on earth. It's also your parents' first time to be the parent. And when you're understanding that sometimes, okay, I didn't deserve what happened to me. I could have been better if this didn't happen to me. Look at your parents' childhood, because sometimes they are already better than they were raised. They already healed. They already grew. And maybe they grew as much as they could. And there are some areas that it was just their first time living and they didn't know how to cope with. And we are living, thank you God, in an era where therapy is getting more and more common when we are actually addressing mental health problems. But for example, when my mom was in my age, she was saying like, there was no such thing as go to therapy, go to psychologist. It's like, it was no such thing. She is a teacher, and so she has to be informed in all the like mental health problems to actually recognize in the students to help them and stuff like that. And so we were talking about it, and she said like, the awareness that we have on mental health right now, it's unbelievable compared to even not when she was my age, even when she was like 10 years older, when she was in her 30s. It is not something that was common, especially in Poland. And so right now, thank you Jesus, we are living in an era when it is actually something talked about. I'm not trying to justify any behaviors of your parents or any traumas that you might gain, but this is just something to gain some perspective, because sometimes they just didn't know any better and there was nobody who can take their hand and guide them through this. The third one is that your brain is looking for the connections of the beliefs it already has. It loves to be right, okay? This is something, your brain, it doesn't want to be happy, it doesn't want to be successful, it wants to be right, okay? It wants to be right, it wants to be in something that it knows, and it's just like, you know that sometimes we call some people like, oh, you have such a small-minded mindset. This is usually our brain. Our brain, if we were supposed to put it as a person, it is somebody who is like, so, okay, no, this is like this is like this. It is very hard to actually change the beliefs that our brain already has. And as much as you think you are making so many decisions in your life, usually it's not. Usually subconsciously, you already know what decision are you gonna make, because your brain loves to know. Your brain loves to know. So even though you're like consciously like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, your brain already knows. You already know what you're gonna do. And most of the decisions, even like where I'm gonna go to college, your brain is already looking for the connections of some events from your past, and it already tries to connect those things. So some perspective for you to gain right now is your brain always looks for similarities. If from your past you had some traumatic events, you had some traumatic relationships, you're gonna try to look for all the connections in your current relationship. And your boyfriend or girlfriend or your friends or your whoever it is that you're trying to have a relationship with, they are not those people from your past. As much as you're like, okay, yeah, I know that. Like, I know they're not the same people, obviously. But your brain doesn't fully understand that. Your brain is still like, okay, this is the same pattern. Okay, I was friends with like those people before and they treated me this way. I'm friends right now, they're gonna treat me the same way. And it tries to prove to you all the time that this belief that it has, it is right. It loves to be right. And so whatever you do, whenever you are in a relationship and you're overthinking and you're trying to look for those connections, take a deep breath and realize, is it actually that this person, that you think that this person is going to hurt you, that they did some bad thing? Or are you looking from the pattern of your past? We are accepting the love we think we deserve. And this is something that is very popular. We were talking a lot about it on social media, but it is something that's actually backed by neuroscience, because your brain, like I said, it loves to be right? It loves to have all those beliefs, all those patterns. It's like, okay, I am all set. I know everything here. I'm comfortable with all here. If something that you know is when somebody's abusive towards you, mentally, physically, whatever, in a relationship, and there comes somebody else who treats you right, you're like, what you doing? What? This is not something that I have on my patterns, that I have on my schemes. What is that? And so you're feeling uncomfortable and you cannot accept that. You're feeling so weird. It is not only that, okay, no, but I know this is right. Your subconsciousness is so powerful. And unless you actually address some issues from your subconsciousness, unless the subconsciousness become consciousness, your subconsciousness is all the time guiding you. It's all the time taking the power. So even though you consciously know that this is a good person, your subconscious mind might actually sabotage this relationship. So you actually have to heal from your inner self, from your traumas, to think, okay, this is a good person and I want them. Because just to know that they are good people, it's one thing. But to actually form a connection and to think, I'm good in this relationship, I'm not going to sabotage it because this is something that is good for me. It is not something that they are trying to make some schemes or something like that. They're not trying to hurt me. You have to heal. You have to heal in order to actually feel like, okay, I deserve it. Because subconsciously, your brain, whatever it is similar to it, whatever it is comfortable for it, whatever it already has seen, it is what it's gonna strike for. And so that's why I know that the thing of you can only love as much as you love yourself, and you can only feel loved as much as you love yourself, it is so true. Because your brain thinks of your love as one thing. So you can give as much love and you can get as much love as you already love yourself, as you already believe for yourself how much you deserve. So it is so important to get into the self-love. I am speaking about it on my channel so much about self-love and how to build it, how to actually recognize that you are worthy of it. And unless you fully heal, unless you fully feel self-love and feel loved by yourself, you're not gonna believe if somebody says, I love you, or show they love you. They actually might love you, but you're not gonna feel it. You're not gonna believe it unless you actually fall in love with yourself. Right now, I really love my nose. It is like pointy, it is beautiful, it is small, but when I was growing up, I really didn't like it. Especially that when I smile, you see that it does what it does. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was so insecure by my nose, and people were saying like, oh, your nose is so cute. And I was feeling so bad. I was feeling so drained. I didn't feel it as a positive thing at all. I was feeling it as, I knew that they weren't making fun of me, but it didn't uplift me. It literally brought me down because I was like, this is not true. And I kept saying to myself, this is not true, this is not true, this is not true. And I kept believing in it until I actually went into the self-love journey. I was doing so much shadow work, honestly. Even though I'm looking at myself, I'm like, girl, what can you be insecure about? I am literally such an amazing person. And right now I'm like, why would I ever hate myself? But I went through a lot of shadow work to actually become a person that I am right now. Or for example, I remember still, I came from holidays and I remember when I was smiling, my lip was like doing this thing that it created a shadow, you know, on my upper lip. And I hated it. I hated it so much, even though right now I think like it's one of the most beautiful things that are happening when we smile. Like the dimples and this thing, I love it. I love it so much when your lip is just like, you know what I mean? Like it just creates this crease on your upper. I love it so much. Back then I didn't love it. I hated it actually. And I remember that my auntie saw me and she was like, oh my God, when you smile and your lip does this thing, you look like Julia Roberts. You're so beautiful. And she started complimenting me. And I remember I was sitting there and I felt like I'm gonna cry. And so backed by my experience, I know that this is true. I know that this thing is actually, you can feel loved just as much as you love yourself. You can get all those compliments, but unless you actually believe them, unless your mind is actually like, okay, yeah, this is true. This is like a confirmation on our belief. But if it is something that we are not believing it, it's like, no, it's not true. You have to actually be so stubborn. You have to resist the urge of feeling like, no, this is not true. You have to heal from the inside to actually believe those things. The next thing is something that I found super interesting. There's such thing as brainwave synchronization. And it basically means that whenever we're speaking with somebody and we are like on the same topic, we synchronize with our minds, we synchronize. And that's why sometimes you interrupt somebody saying the same thing, like you're like finishing their sentences or something, you know, you're just synchronized. And something that I find super, super cute is that whenever you are really close friends with somebody, you have bigger connection. That means that this synchronization is even bigger. That's why sometimes you start speaking about the exact same thing with somebody. It's not a coincidence. It is something that our minds do. They synchronize and we start to speak about the certain subject at the same time. And we're like, oh my God, it's so weird. Oh my God, we're becoming the same person because actually we are synchronizing so much. Which brings me to the first point. You have to be really careful who you're putting in your closest circle because you synchronize, you become like this other person. This is like the under point of the first point that I was making. You really have to be careful who you're putting into your closest circle because you actually synchronize with them. You're actually, parts of you are becoming like them and parts of them are becoming like you. You are becoming so close to each other. And also even physically, you can see, for example, that after some years of relationship, two people are becoming more similar to each other than at the beginning. And it is not only physical, it is mental, it is spiritual, it is so deep. Connections within people are so deep. They're literally shaping us from the beginning. We are like a combination of everybody we loved from the beginning. And it is so important, so crucial that we have to be selective with. And I would never see the reason of you downgrading yourself, taking a step back from all the events that you went through just to be for a while with a person who is not on your level. And I want to clarify, this is not about any financial situation or academic or anything like that. I'm just saying about emotional maturity. I'm just saying about your mindset. I'm saying about your mind development. Last but not least, anxiety is excitement in your mind. Your brain doesn't see the difference between two. It doesn't see the difference between when you're excited or when you're anxious. And so sometimes whenever you're in a new relationship and you know those butterflies in your stomach, you feel this exciting, this is anxiety. There is such thing that when you're anxious, when you're feeling a bit stressed, you're not thinking clearly. That's why sometimes people say like, oh my God, like when she has a crush, she's acting so much differently because she is acting from fight or flight mode. Like your blood is not circling around your brain. It goes to the part when you're actually, like I said, when you are stressed, your blood goes to the part that is making you live in those fight or flight mode. So whenever you're in a new relationship, when there is no excitement like that, it doesn't mean it's bad, because your body, you are literally just not stressed. You're literally just not feeling anxious. You're literally just feeling secure and safe with the other person, which is not a bad thing to have in a relationship. And I know that especially in all of those TV shows or in books or in movies, we are over romanticizing when it's this excitement, when there are those butterflies and all those new feelings. When it's down to a stable relationship, we find it boring. And it is really important for you to resist the urge of running away. When we started going out, I already loved my boyfriend platonically. Like I said, we were friends for a long time, and I really, really cared about him. And also I started developing more deep feelings. And even though I already had some feelings towards him, I had so many urges to run away, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that is stable and there are no feelings like that. I was excited. I was like, oh my god, but it was not like it was before. It was not the anxious excitement. It was the excitement, like a conscious one, I was feeling safe with him. I already knew him. So many times I had what is going on? What is going on? And I resisted the urge, and it was like the best decision of my life, because not only did I heal those patterns that were telling me, okay, you have to have the butterflies in your stomach for your relationship to actually be happy and good and everything like that, but I gained a partner. What I'm trying to say here is, when you don't feel this anxious excitement, it's not necessarily bad. And when you are resisting the urge and you're staying in the whole thing, it is healing this pattern of yours. And that's all I wanted to say in today's video. I love you guys so much. It was so great talking to you. I cannot wait to talk to you next week. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to be a part of our community, make sure to subscribe. Also hit the notification button. I love you guys so much. Have a great week. Bye!